I had no idea what the chemical reality was down here. It is an entirely different monster. This potent stuff in the corner literally took my life the very first day I arrived in the city. I managed to breathe again, but you know exactly what I mean. I'm not physically locked behind these concrete barriers by choice, but my dependency refuses to let me leave this block. My body wants out, but my addiction is anchored right here in the dirt. Welcome to Homeless U.S. News. Have you ever truly stopped to look at what is happening right here in the epicenter of Oakland? This is one of the most culturally vibrant, historically significant, and economically powerful hubs in the entire San Francisco Bay Area. Yet, behind the multi-million-dollar tech booms and the pristine waterfront developments, a staggering 5,485 human beings are living completely unhoused tonight. Out of that population, a terrifying 3,659 individuals, more than two-thirds of every displaced soul, are forced to survive directly on the asphalt. They are living inside fragile nylon tents or huddled within broken-down, rusted vehicles parked on commercial side streets, surrounded by scattered debris, open distress, and the freezing, systematic indifference of a hypermodern metropolis. Who are these people? How did they end up falling through the cracks in a city that generates billions of dollars in enterprise? What are the raw, untold biological and economic stories hidden behind the weathered expressions of our neighbors? Today, we are stepping past curated tourist districts to bring you the unfiltered reality of life on the pavement of Oakland. What you are about to see will challenge everything you think you know about the stability of the American dream. If you believe that these human lives deserve to be seen, and that journalism should never look away from the truth, smash that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. Let's walk these blocks together. Drop a comment below right now. How does it feel to know that thousands of families are sleeping on cold concrete just miles away from Silicon Valley? Let's uncover the truth. Part 1. The Metropolitan Fault Line. Oakland by the numbers. To understand the depth of the crisis in Oakland, you have to look past the beautiful view of the Bay Bridge and look directly at the mathematical acceleration of human displacement across Alameda County. According to the latest comprehensive data from the official point-in-time counts, there are 5,485 individuals documented as experiencing chronic homelessness on any given night. But the figure that reveals the true physical danger of this emergency is the unsheltered rate. Exactly 3,659 human beings are living completely unsheltered, meaning their only sanctuary is an environment never intended for human life. This means that more than 2 out of every 3 unhoused individuals in Oakland are spending their nights exposed to the elements. You can see the physical evidence of this economic fault line running right through the heart of the city. These aren't abstract caricatures. These are real families desperately fighting to keep their children together in the back of old station wagons. These are single adults pushing heavily overloaded shopping carts containing the last remaining fragments of their physical lives through the morning fog. These are young adults who aged out of local care systems, wandering the dark blocks in search of a corner where they won't be assaulted or arrested. The daily routine for these thousands is defined by an exhausting, non-stop search for basic biological necessity. They spend their daylight hours walking the blistering asphalt, hunting for a drop of clean water, a public facility to maintain their hygiene, or a functional electrical outlet to charge a phone, so they can stay connected to social workers or housing waitlists. There is no deadbolt to turn, no private bedroom to retreat to, and no sanctuary from the noise. As the city moves forward with its rapid, high-paying economic rhythm, this displaced population exists on a parallel plane of survival. They watch the wealth of the tech sector roll past them in luxury vehicles, carrying a chronic, soul-crushing fatigue. When an economy becomes this exclusive, homelessness is not an accident. It is the structural consequence of a system that has priced the working class out of existence. Part 2. The landscape of exposure, sidewalks and free sweep corridors. In Oakland, the spaces that ordinary citizens pass every day without a second thought have been transformed into desperate, open-air survival cells. The 3,659 individuals living unsheltered across the city represent a significant increase in visibility over the past few years. Encampments have expanded along the Broadway corridors, packed tightly into the industrial vacant lots near the estuary, or clustered beneath the massive, roaring concrete overpasses of East Oakland. Life in these high-visibility zones is a constant exercise in physical and mental degradation. Every single morning begins with a frantic race against the city clock. Residents must fold their damp blankets and collapse their tarps before the morning commute begins, trying to avoid drawing the attention of sanitation crews or hostile property owners. They carry their entire world on their backs, knowing that their temporary home is also a public pathway where hundreds of people rush to work or school every day, intentionally looking through them as if they were invisible. The weather in the Bay Area acts as a slow, relentless physical weight. The winter rain turns the dirt beneath the tents into a freezing mud pit, destroying clothing and blankets within hours. The summer heat turns a nylon tent into a suffocating box that rapidly depletes the body's water reserves. The noise of the freeway traffic never stops, vibrating to the pavement and keeping sleep shallow, broken, and unrefreshing. Many survivors describe the profound psychological trauma of having no private space left in their lives, living every private moment, from crying to trying to heal from an illness, in full view of a critical public. Yet, even within the severe hardship, you see the stubborn survival of human dignity. You see a neighbor sweeping the dirt outside their tent with a broken broom. You see a group sharing a single lighter or watching each other's carts while someone searches for food. These sidewalks are a living monument to human endurance in a world that has stripped away the basic right to a roof. Part 3. The affordability wall, the economic drivers of poverty. The descent into homelessness in Oakland is rarely a sudden, dramatic choice. It is a slow, silent unraveling of a life that once felt perfectly stable. To understand the primary engine behind this crisis, you have to look past personal vulnerabilities and look directly at the massive economic housing gap in Alameda County. The average rent for a basic, modest apartment in Oakland has climbed to an astronomical $2,300 a month. Compare that to the reality that wages for the service workers, hospitality staff, and retail laborers who keep the city running have remained completely flat for years. This massive affordability wall means that thousands of local families are living in a state of extreme financial fragility. They are spending 60% or more of their total take-home pay just to keep their landlords happy, leaving absolutely zero margin for error. The stories we hear on the street are incredibly consistent. It starts with a quiet, private financial shock. It's a sudden corporate layoff, a sudden cut in work hours, or a single unexpected hospital invoice that completely wipes out a family's micro-savings. Once the rent check bounces, the legal eviction process moves with terrifying speed. Within a month, an ordinary citizen goes from paying their taxes to standing on the curb, watching their furniture being loaded into a truck. For others, the weight of untreated health conditions or the long, difficult road of recovery from substance dependency added internal burdens that became impossible to carry without a stable address. Once you lose your housing, the system is designed to keep you down. You cannot easily secure a job without a fixed address or a place to wash your uniform. And you cannot secure an address without a job. These are people who worked for decades, who raised their children in these neighborhoods, and who did everything right, only to find themselves priced out of their own hometowns by a hyperinflated real estate market. Part 4. The neighborhood friction. Ripple effects across the metropolis. When extreme poverty becomes as concentrated and visible, It creates powerful waves of social friction that ripple through every layer of Oakland's shared civic spaces. The crisis is no longer contained to specific zones. It has fundamentally altered the daily experience of residential neighborhoods and commercial districts alike. Encampments now border the historic pathways around Lake Merritt, line the sidewalks of downtown business corridors, and fill the vacant spaces of East Oakland, creating a complex intersection of survival and community strain. For the unhoused population, this visibility is a source of permanent daily anxiety. They know they are viewed by the public as an eyesore, a public safety risk, or a threat to property values. They carry the immense psychological weight of the cold glances, the angry complaints filed on city apps, and the constant fear of being displaced yet again. Most of these individuals are simply trying to make it through the day without causing trouble, but when you have no private bathroom, no trash collection, and no legal place to stand, your very existence becomes a point of public friction. At the same time, the strain on local business owners and residents is real and measurable. Independent merchants describe a significant financial burden, facing rising operational costs due to the necessity of investing in private security, advanced lighting, and specialized property maintenance. Foot traffic declines as customers avoid blocks where human suffering is openly displayed on the sidewalk. Public parks and transit stations become overburdened, stretching emergency services and municipal outreach teams to their absolute breaking point. This concentration of destitution creates a quiet emotional distance between citizens who share the same city. Trust between neighbors starts to erode, replaced by a growing sense of frustration and helplessness. It is a stark reminder that when a city allows its most vulnerable residents to fall into absolute destitution, the warmth and cohesion of the entire community begins to fracture. Part 5. The Inner Compass. The clinical reality of the streets. To paint a true and honest picture of Oakland's pavement, we must analyze a profound crisis of human neurology and behavioral health unfolding on its sidewalks. According to official point-in-time data, approximately 35% of the individuals surviving on Oakland streets report serious, active mental health needs, while roughly 29% are locked in a daily battle with substance use challenges. These two statistics do not exist in isolation. They are deeply intertwined, feeding and magnifying each other inside the environment of the street. The street is a psychological meat grinder. Imagine trying to maintain your mental stability when your nervous system has been kept in a permanent state of high alarm for months or years. The constant threat of physical violence, the lack of secure sleep, the public humiliation, and the chronic exposure to the elements cause real, lasting psychological trauma. Over time, the brain's natural coping mechanisms simply burn out. The racing thoughts, the deep paranoia, the severe depression and hallucinations witnessed on the street corners are often the direct, biological result of a mind trying to survive an unendurable reality without a door to close. This clinical emergency is made infinitely worse by a complete lack of accessible, steady support systems. For an unsheltered person, navigating the traditional healthcare system is an impossible maze, a long waiting list at a county clinic, a missed bus due to a lack of transit fare, or the sudden loss of documents during a city cleanup operation can interrupt medical care instantly. If an individual manages to get psychiatric medications, keeping them safe on the sidewalk is an everyday struggle. Backpacks are regularly stolen, and pills quickly degrade when exposed to extreme weather. Without professional care and physical sanctuary, many are left to self-medicate with low-cost street substances just to quiet the internal chaos or to find the energy to stay awake through a dangerous night. Until our interventions treat housing and intensive behavioral health care as a single, inseparable medicine, the cycle of mental collapse on our pavements will continue to deepen. Part 6. The enforcement loop, the trauma of encampment sweeps. The early morning silence along East 12th Street and the industrial corridors of the Wood Street area is frequently broken by the low, heavy rumble of heavy city trucks, sanitation vehicles, and law enforcement cruisers. This is the front line of the encampment clearing debate, a high-stakes municipal strategy that has seen a massive escalation in recent seasons. Records reveal that city agencies have carried out hundreds of encampment closures across hundreds of recurring locations, representing a massive increase in enforcement operations compared to previous years. For the hundreds of human beings living inside these targeted zones, the arrival of these crews brings a crushing weight of anxiety and disruption that settles deep in the chest. Many have spent months working to turn a small patch of sidewalk or a hidden lot into a stable, predictable space. They have learned the safest hours of the block, found a few spots that offer shade during a scorching afternoon, and build informal neighborhood agreements with other unhoused residents to watch over each other's belongings. In a single morning, that fragile sense of order is completely dismantled. Residents are forced to quickly pack whatever they can carry into a cart or a plastic bag, while heavy machinery moves through their living spaces. In the rush and panic, critical items are systematically lost or destroyed. Life-saving medical prescriptions, blankets, clean changes of clothing, legal identification documents, and the single remaining family photograph that connects them to their past life. The exhaustion inflicted by these sweeps is not just physical. It is a profound spiritual erosion. The individual is forced to wander the hot asphalt for hours, carrying their heavy load, searching for another patch of dirt to pitch their tent before darkness falls, knowing with absolute certainty that the new location will be cleared in a few weeks. While some local homeowners and business operators welcome these operations as a necessary tool to restore public cleanliness and access, the data proves that moving a person from one sidewalk to another fixes nothing. It simply recycles the trauma, destroys whatever fragments of trust these individuals had left in the system, and pushes the possibility of stable, long-term recovery further into the distance. Part 7. The Architecture of Compassion. Integrated Pathways to Stability. Despite the immense gravity of the landscape we have documented, a quiet and structural movement is beginning to take root in the soil of Oakland. City planners, community advocates, and nonprofit leaders are moving past the failure of temporary fixes and designing a comprehensive blueprint to cut unsheltered homelessness in half by 2031. To reach this critical target, the city is working to develop approximately 3,650 new units of deeply affordable, permanent supportive housing, backed by intensive prevention programs designed to catch the more than 2,500 people who fall into homelessness for the first time each year. This strategy is built on a simple, revolutionary truth. Housing is healthcare. The Housing First model recognizes that you cannot successfully treat a substance use disorder, manage a severe mental illness, or help a person secure employment, while their baseline reality is survival on a cold concrete sidewalk. When you hand an unhoused individual a key to their own apartment, a private space with a door that locks, a functional kitchen, and a clean bathroom, their nervous system finally leaves emergency survival mode. Their cortisol levels drop, their mind clears, and they can finally begin the long, difficult work of rehabilitation. We are seeing the profound human transformation that occurs when these integrated pathways are deployed. Thousands of individuals across Alameda County are stepping off the concrete and into these programs, where housing is paired directly with on-site case managers, mental health therapy, job skills workshops, and medical professionals. For these individuals, having an address to call their own means the end of the exhausting daily packing routine. They can store their medication safely, prepare warm meals, and rest their bodies without the constant fear of violence or displacement. The heavy weight of survival begins to lift, making room for small human hopes to grow again, applying for work, return to school, and reconnecting with the families they lost to the streets. These long-term approaches demonstrate that real progress happens when stable shelter is treated as a necessary foundation for recovery, not a distant reward after surviving endless structural obstacles. Part 8. The generational squeeze, elders and unaccompanied youth. To fully map the human reality of Oakland's crisis, we must look closely at a devastating generational squeeze that is occurring on its sidewalks. The unhoused population is rapidly fracturing into two highly vulnerable demographics: senior citizens who have run out of time and young adults who have run out of options. The middle-class safety net has failed them both, leaving them to navigate the brutal dynamics of the streets side by side. Senior citizens over the age of 65 represent one of the fastest-growing segments of the displaced population in the Bay Area. These are individuals who spent decades working in our logistics warehouses, cleaning our office buildings, or working in retail, surviving on modest wages, while believing that their Social Security would protect them in their elder years. But in a real estate market where a basic studio costs $2,000, their fixed retirement checks are a fraction of what is required to stay indoors. We see grandmothers trying to manage chronic conditions like heart disease, severe arthritis, and diabetes inside nylon tents, their physical forms rapidly deteriorating under the strain of the damp coastal fog. There is an absolute moral failure in watching someone who spent a lifetime contributing to our society having to search for a safe patch of concrete to lay their head at night. On the other end of this tragic spectrum are the unaccompanied youth, teenagers and young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 who have aged out of the foster care system or fled abusive family environments. They arrive on the streets of Oakland with nothing but a backpack and a profound vulnerability. Without an adult safety net, financial literacy, or institutional support, they quickly become targets for exploitation and predatory elements on the street. They gather in small, informal groups near transit centers, trying to look out for one another, but the trauma of the street quickly alters their trajectory. By failing to protect these two extreme pillars of our community, our oldest citizens who hold our history, and our youngest who hold our future, our society is allowing its social contract to completely dissolve on the pavement. Part 9. The underground cohesion, grassroots empowerment. While the formal state structures and large-scale bureaucracies often move at a glacial pace, the survival of thousands of human beings on Oakland streets depends entirely on a highly sophisticated network of grassroots organizations, mutual aid networks, and volunteers. This is the underground cohesion of the city, a movement of ordinary citizens who refuse to accept human suffering as a permanent feature of their neighborhoods. The data from the point-in-time counts reveals a beautiful truth about this mobilization. Hundreds of local residents consistently volunteer their time to step onto front lines of this crisis. What is most profound is that nearly 38% of these active volunteers are individuals who have personal lived experience with homelessness. They are survivors who managed to escape the quicksand of the pavement, and they are now returning to the encampments to pull others out. They don't arrive with judgment or generic advice. They arrive with deep empathy, shared language, and a distinct knowledge of what it takes to survive the concrete night. These grassroots teams, faith-based groups, and independent nonprofits are the ones doing the daily, heavy lifting that keeps hope alive in the shadows. They operate mobile hygiene trailers that provide hot showers and laundry services directly to the encampments. They run independent food kitchens that distribute hot, nutritious meals wrapped in genuine respect. They spend hours sitting on milk crates inside tents, helping people replace lost birth certificates, fill out complex digital housing applications, and prepare for job interviews. For a person who spent months feeling completely invisible to the world around them, a volunteer who remembers their name and asks about their well-being without conditions is a life-saving anchor. This grassroots empowerment proves that real, lasting change does not trickle down from corporate boards or political promises. It grows from the bottom up, when ordinary neighbors choose to show up for each other in the dark. Part 10, Reclaiming Our Shared Humanity, the Systemic Reflection. The homelessness crisis in Oakland is not an unsolvable mystery, a natural disaster, or the inevitable result of individual failure. It is a direct, structural consequence of choices we have made as a society. Choices about how we build our cities, how we value human labor, and how we protect the vulnerable among us. Every single tent lining the Broadway corridors and every person sleeping exposed beneath a freeway overpass is a living reflection of a social contract that has been systematically broken. We have built a world that can launch rockets into space and generate trillions in digital currency. Yet we tell ourselves that providing a safe, warm door for a veteran or a working mother is a challenge too complex to meet. This is an illusion of powerlessness. The work being done by local outreach teams, the deployment of integrated care campuses, and the success of permanent supportive housing models prove that we know exactly how to cure this crisis. What is missing is a collective moral will to prioritize human life over speculative real estate profit. We must stop viewing our unhoused neighbors as a nuisance to be cleared, a statistic to be managed, or a threat to be feared. We must look to the lens of radical empathy and see them for who they truly are, our brothers, our sisters, our parents, and our children. They are human souls doing their absolute best to survive under circumstances that would break most of us within a week. Their quiet resilience on the pavement of Oakland should inspire us, but it should also break our hearts. Real civic safety and prosperity cannot be built by walling off the wealthy and leaving the poor to freeze in the rain. True community strength is measured by how safely the most vulnerable member of that community can sleep tonight. Outro, the vision of a home. As the evening lights flicker across the waters of Lake Merritt and the shadows deepen beneath the overpasses of East Oakland, our long journey through the realities of this crisis comes to a close. One truth remains written on the pavement. The soul of a city is defined by how it responds when its people are breaking in plain sight. The thousands of human hearts sleeping outside in Oakland tonight are holding on to a simple dream, a dream that is shared by human beings everywhere. It is a dream of a quiet room, a bed lifted off the hard ground, a door that locks the world out, and the peace of knowing you belong somewhere. This dream is not an extraordinary luxury. It is the baseline of human dignity. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for staying with us until the very final second of this extensive documentary on homeless U.S. news. In a digital world where attention spans are fragmented into seconds, your decision to sit with this heavy, unfiltered truth from the first sentence to the final word carries real human weight. You are no longer just a passive viewer. You are a witness to the reality of your neighbors. If this journey through the paradox of Oakland has touched your heart, challenged your assumptions, or made you look at the streets of your own neighborhood with a little more kindness, please take a brief moment right now to smash that like button. It takes less than a second, but it tells the algorithm that deep, human-centered journalism matters, helping this message reach thousands of more minds who need to awaken to this truth. If you want to continue walking alongside us through the hidden corners of America and giving a powerful voice to those who have been silenced in the shadows, hit subscribe to Homeless U.S. News and turn on that notification bell. We are building a community that refuses to look away from human suffering. We want to hear your voice. What part of this documentary hit you the hardest? Have you noticed this crisis shifting in your own hometown? Let's start an honest, deeply respectful conversation in the comments section below. We read every single thought you share. Let's keep our empathy alive, reject indifference, and remember that we're all much closer to each other than the world wants us to believe. Stay warm, stay safe, and we will see you in the next story on Homeless U.S. News.